Kicking it with KeKe. Kicking it with KeKe. Kicking it with KeKe. Full of personality. Switching up the storyline on God, we making history.
Writing books, changing lives, one day at a time. Put your problems to the side. Enjoy yourself. Free your mind.
Kicking it with KeKe. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with KeKe, Life, Love, and all that other shit. I am your host, author KeKe Chanel, award-winning author, lifestyle blogger, and certified life coach. The overall theme for Kicking It with KeKe podcast is all about personal development and mindset. I believe that when we operate as our best self, we go through life more abundantly. But y'all know how I do. I like to give my guests the opportunity to introduce themselves. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to my new friend. Tell the people who you are and introduce yourself.
Got you. Hey guys, my name is Thr33s H3avn. I am a Christian rapper based here in Houston, Texas. My name is spelled not really traditionally. It is Thr33s. There's a space in between the next one. It's H3avn. That's Thr33s H3avn. I really love this name. I won't lie, I took inspiration from Lil Uzi, that controversy that was going on with his name. You say his full artist name, that sounds like Lucifer. And so I was like, as a Christian rapper, I feel like, I don't know, it would be interesting to have something that is, you know, a trending topic when it comes to just my name. It's something interesting for people to think about. So Thr33s H3avn, say it fast, is 37. 7 in the Bible that represents, you know, the seventh day after God made everything. You know, he rested. And so I love the sevens. I love threes. I love numerology and angel numbers in general.
Right. I love it. I love the threes because it's a representation of the Holy Trinity. And being a Christian rapper, like I want to get into that though, because you're from Houston and you're a Christian rapper. Like, how did that come about though? For real. Like, how did that come about?
So originally, I'm actually not from Houston. I'm from Austin originally, but
okay,
I don't really feel like, you know, the area that I'm in has a lot to do with, you know, my life path choice. What has to do with that is everything that I've gone through in my life. You see, there was a very, very long point in my life where I wasn't doing good, you know, since the age of 12, all the way up till I was 20 years old. I struggled with substance abuse. It started with weed, moved on to anxiety medication like Xanax. Doctors had prescribed me pain meds for surgeries, and there was so many factors that led to the ultimate destruction of myself. There have been many points in my life to where I just felt lost and confused and just to the brink of about to give up. And very recently, it was about 10 months ago, give or take, in December of last year, a few days after my 21st birthday, when a certain chain of events occurred that led to me going to rehab. And from that journey that I went, you know, that I experienced going to rehab in Florida, having to come back here about 4 months later because I'm on probation, it's all been just an amazing journey. And I decided whenever I got here to delve into the Christian rap lifestyle, you know, really giving myself over to God and trying to push a positive message to others that deal with the same thing that I deal with, people that do struggle with substance abuse and people that just are struggling in general, trying to understand what the meaning of life is.
Right. And I know you talk about being a healer, offering a message of redemption and hope to all that listen to your music. Let's talk about that a little bit. Like, I know that you said that you, went to rehab and you had substance abuse and things like that. So being a healer through your lyrics, how did that start? Like, how did you get into actual music, or had you always been in music?
Hmm. You know, I think that I wrote my first song whenever I was in third grade, actually. I still remember to this day the song that inspired me to get into writing, and that was part two to that song Airplanes by B.O.B., the one that's
Uh-huh.
featuring him. That song just inspired me so much, and it caused me to try it myself, and that led to this pursuit that I've been on for what, since I was in third grade. I want to say it's been about 10, 11 years that I've been doing this. And
Hmm.
I started out writing in middle school. I recorded for the first time, and I just kept going all throughout middle school and high school until I graduated. And high school all the way up to my graduation was a very dark period in my life. I was doing a handful of different substances, and while I thought I was finding myself, I was losing myself, and that became the basis of what I was putting in my music. The depression, the slipping out of reality and becoming so delusional to where I didn't know what was real and what was fake. I was just so lost, and I aspired to do this so much that I convinced myself in a delusional state of mind that I was actually doing something when I was going nowhere. I was putting all this time and effort into portraying a negative whenever I could have been doing it to be positive, to make a positive change in people's lives. And that didn't happen until after I got sober. And so it's been this journey of me losing myself ultimately so that I could find myself in sobriety and in God.
Absolutely. I love that for you. I love that because so many people keep that hidden from other people for fear of not having the support, or for fear of looking like they're weak, or not being in control of their surroundings or life. And thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. I know that you don't have to share your journey, but I appreciate you being on the show today, kicking it with me, letting us know a little bit more about who Three's Heaven is. Like, I love it. Thank you so much. And so I like to ask, and we jumped the gun a little bit, because before we get started, I always like to ask my guests the two questions about personal growth or personal development and mindset. And you pretty much touched on mindset. You had to change your way of thinking to tap into a better you, so to speak. Because if you had stayed in that way of thinking and had that mindset that you had back then, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
right. So, how important is having that abundant mindset, that positive mindset to you?
Mm. That right there is the most important thing to me, because if it weren't for the constant development of my mindset and aim to progressing and becoming a better version of myself every single time that I get the opportunity to wake up and experience another day, then I wouldn't be moving towards this success that I am so adamant about getting to. You know, I have, I'll share with you a little bit about something that I do every morning that I feel there's not a lot of people in this world that, that do these kind of things. And it's a simple thing, and that's creating my reality alongside of my creator, because we
Mm,
are beings that are created in order to create. Our purpose here is to make the world better, and we have the power. God has blessed us with the power to be able to create our reality and mold our reality alongside of him. And that comes with a term that often is looked down upon. In fact, is called sin in the Bible, and that's the term manifestation. Now, I use manifestation on a daily basis, but I use it in works with God. I ask God to do his will, to allow his will to be done in my life, to guide my footsteps, guide my heart, guide my mind, before I even start to think about what it is that I'm setting myself up to manifest into my reality. Because if
yeah.
I can manifest money. I could try to manifest fame. I could try to manifest all these things that are selfish. But instead, right now, I'm in the works of manifesting something that could honestly turn me into an icon. And I don't know if you're familiar with the term icon, are you?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and for the people that are not, an icon essentially is somebody who represents a cause that is much, much greater than themselves. And
Yep.
that cause for me is battling alcoholism, getting out into the community and making the disease, because that's what it is. It's not laziness. It's not a choice. Alcoholism is a disease, such as cancer is a disease, and you wouldn't treat somebody with cancer the way that you treat an alcoholic. You know, and that's something that we gotta change the narrative on, because there's so many sick people out here. There are hundreds of thousands of people that die every single year from alcoholism, from
Mm-hmm.
drug abuse, and that number just keeps growing. And so the movement that I'm starting right now, the Threes Heaven movement, is to make the public aware that this is a disease, to reach the youth and to get to them before they are either uninformed or, even worse, misinformed about how severe this disease is, because
Mm-hmm.
they got say no to drugs. But as a kid, honestly, that was one of the causes that caused me to do drugs, because as an adolescent, I want to do the exact opposite of what these adults are telling me to do. And so if you just go to a kid and say, don't do drugs, I'm going to do drugs. It's
Facts.
but it's as simple as that. And what we have to start doing is giving perspective to the youth. We need to inform them. We need to educate them, because they're going to find out what real life is, no matter how hard we try to shelter them.
Mm-hmm.
But we, as an adults, want to make a positive change. We got to be there to inform them of the facts. And the facts is that this life hard, and there are a lot of evil forces in this life that are going to try to break you down and keep you underneath what you have the potential to do, and that's the potential to change the world for the positive.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And see, I love that you say that, because my son is about to be 15, right? And if I tell him not to do something, he always like, why? So you have to give a valid reason, because you could
Yeah.
say no to drugs, don't do drugs all day long. But like you said, if you don't give them the reason why, or show them some evidence of someone going through things mentally, emotionally, physically, because everything changes when you're abusing yourself in any type of way. You don't look the same, you don't feel the same. It's just a different aura that you give off. So keep doing that. I pray that your platform supersedes your expectations for it, change lives in ways that you can't even imagine. And I know that God is going to continue to show up, because you're showing up, you're doing the work, you're a walking and living testimony of your transformation. And so that brings me to a point that you have in your bio, that you are your lyrics are transformative, I'm sorry.
Okay.
The power of faith and resilience to the human spirit. So how,
Mm.
let's talk about that, like being transformative through your lyrics. Like, do you know that, and I might get a little flack when people listen to this, but rap nowadays is garbage, for
Mm.
real. So having a message in your lyrics that is changing the masses in a positive
Mm-hmm.
way, like let's talk about that a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's a can of worms. And see, I want to give a little bit of context into my personal opinion on your statement that rap is garbage. I think the sound is constantly elevating, but it's not the sound that's garbage. The sound is just it's elevation, it's progression, it is evolution. But it's the lyrics, it's the message behind
Yeah.
these songs. Because what these people do, and I know that I'll probably get a lot of backlash for saying this, but honestly, in this field, I know I'm going to have to deal with that a lot, is that the industry pays more to people that send a negative message than they do to people who give a positive message. Meek Mill talked about this multiple times in several interviews. And so they use these people that already come from a negative background, and they feed that negativity, and they want to push it to where we create a slippery slope for the next generation. There, it's designed to have a really upbeat, positive sound, but with dark, menacing lyrics behind it. So it's brainwash. You know, radio waves and sound frequencies have been used for a very long time in order to brainwash people. It's a known fact. Sound is very powerful. Vibration is powerful, and that focused vibration into a frequency of sound, if you know the inner workings of that and you know how to manipulate that, you can change it to where you can focus it to make somebody do something and think a certain way. And that's really what they're doing. And a lot of people don't know that. and that's one thing that I've realized is I'm very, very specific about the sound that I go for. And I feel like I'm a little bit ironical with the way that I go about it, because with my music, I take inspiration from a lot of artists that were in pain and that were hurting, and you could hear it in their music. And I didn't intentionally do this. It just seems to have happened. But I take a lot of inspiration from artists that are no longer with us. You know, in my current project that I'm working on, I take a lot of inspiration from XXXTentacion, a lot of inspiration from Juice WRLD, a lot of inspiration from Lil Peep. Those are just a few artists that are very popular in this generation that I take a lot of inspiration from. I use their type beats, but the only very, very, very important difference in my music and theirs is that I'm pushing a positive message. Yeah, I'm talking about the pain that I went through. I'm talking about the drugs that I've done. I'm talking about all of this real life things. But I'm talking about how I came out on the other side of that, how I'm still moving forward, and I'm becoming a better person from overcoming that. I still battle with addiction every day. There is not going to be a single point in my life in the here and now or in the future that I'm not going to be a drug addict. But the key difference is, am I going to die with my addiction, or am I going to die from my addiction? And that is the determining factor. I know relapse is not an option for me, because I have a lot of people that look up to me right now for the messages that I portray, not only in my music, but as an influencer on social media. I have created this individual. I can't say I created it. God molded me into this individual that I am right now, as someone who has the potential to become an icon, to represent this alcoholism, this disease, and to properly inform people of its severity, of its detriment to society as a whole.
Listen, man, listen. I don't get speeches often, but just listening that you talk and seeing that passion behind your work, hearing the passion behind the words that you say, it's a beautiful thing, and we need more people like that. And yeah, when I say the rap is garbage, I mean the lyrics, because everybody talking about, you already know what is the songs are being played and talked about, and they making it normal for people to make it okay with breaking the law and killing people and the drugs and the sex and all of that. And kids are impressionable. So like you said, that the frequencies, man, that is a mouthful for real. And I implore anybody to study up on that, because it's real. It's been happening. Those sound waves and all of that, because when I get migraines, I have to go and listen to high frequency. It has to be on a different level to help bring that down, to calm my mind down, so that can ease some of the tension and the pain. So just imagine you feeding yourself those lyrics or that music all day long, every day. It's going to affect you in some way. That's why we have to be careful what we absorb. And that's listening and watching. because
Oh
it
yeah.
can affect us in a negative and a positive way.
No, absolutely. Being um, focused and precise about the things that you put into your mind, whether it be, okay, so the conscious mind takes in information through the five senses, through sight, through smell, through sound, through taste, through touch. That's how the conscious mind is, it is, it has, you can put a certain kind of impression on it. Now, the subconscious mind is different. It focuses on those unseen things, those energies, those sounds, those vibrations, all of the unforeseen forces in the universe is how you create an impression on the subconscious mind. Now,
Mhm.
those things all coincide in a factor. Everything is vibrating at a certain frequency. You and I right now are vibrating on a certain frequency, and the things that we focus on that might match vibrationally with what we're thinking will inevitably become reality.
Mhm.
If I focus on becoming the world's greatest rapper, and that is the number one thing that I focus on, I'm studying up on it. It's in all of my lingo, it's in everything that I'm watching. I will become the world's greatest rapper. Just as if I'm listening to music that portrays robbing, prostitution, theft, and I'm seeing it because all these other people are listening to the same music and I see it in my community, it's the one thing that I'm focusing on. And so that's what I'm going to become. The thing that you focus on the most that matches vibrationally with your thought pattern is what you're going to see in reality.
Absolutely. That was a bar for real. Listen, I love it. It's like, honestly, do y'all hear? Do y'all hear the things that are coming out of his mouth? If not, go back and rewind it. And listen, anyone who's listening, we're not trying to disregard or discard anybody's talent or whatever. We just know that we are on a different path to a different journey, and we want to bring as many people as we possibly can to live life positively the way that God designed it to be. And that's whoever you believe in. I believe in God, do your thing. But I have clawed my way out of darkness. I didn't have any abuse, but I was doing mental abuse to myself. I was telling myself I didn't deserve to be loved. So I allowed myself to be loved on by anybody who said, "Hey, I love you," or "You cute," or whatever. And I got myself into some sticky situations with some shady cats. Let's put it like that. And so when I decided that I wanted better from myself, my whole life changed. I started to see people for who they are. I still see people for who they are. I move different. I love different. I focus on different things so that I can become the best version of myself. And my word for next year is overflow. And I believe that God is about to open up doors and a breakthrough is coming for his people. We are finding each other. We are aligning with like-minded individuals who are on the same path. And I believe that it's going to be a beautiful thing. The people that I've been in contact with, like yourself, I just feel different. The vibration is so much higher than when you deal with somebody who is unsure of themselves, or all about, well, this person didn't say hey to me when I came on the live, or this person didn't like my photo. Who cares? You don't know what people go through. You can't expect everybody to pour into you when you're not pouring into yourself, because it's not even about you. You don't know what people have to go through every day. You don't know the fight that they're trying to get out of, you know, every day. So let's talk about that. Stop taking everything so personally. Even though it's personal, stop taking it personally, because it may not even be about you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Uh, and you're over here talking about speeches. You just gave one of the most important ones, is because as a human being, my nature is to be selfish and self-centered. And so it's doing the things that are absolutely uncomfortable to me and trying to mold my mind into being comfortable in uncomfortability is where I see the most progression as an individual. When I get outside of myself, and I never stop focusing on what it is that I want, but I will never as well stop focusing on changing what it is that I truly want. And if I want better for myself, better for my life and my circumstances, then I have to want better for the people that are also involved in my life and my circumstances. You see, nothing is ever solely about me. Everything is about what impact I make on society, what impact I make on one person's life today. It causes what is called a ripple effect. You know, I'm nice to one person today, even if it is the smallest gesture of I see somebody delivering a FedEx package, I look at them, I make eye contact, I just smile. I could even take it a step further and say, I hope you have a good day. That could change the narrative of the entirety of that person's day just by that little gesture. You see, and it's the little things that matter the most, that have the most weight and impact on people's lives. And as a human, that is the one thing that I have such a bad habit of disregarding, is a small thing. My nature focus on the bigger picture, but in order to make a bigger picture out of this puzzle, you have to focus on every little individual piece in order to make the puzzle come into light, to make it a whole. And that is, to me, one of the most essential things, is making sure that I have even the smallest of a positive impact today than I did yesterday and that I will tomorrow, because I can't do today what I do tomorrow. I can't do tomorrow what I didn't do today. You know, it's just being conscious and being aware of what I'm doing, how I'm thinking, what I'm saying. It's just making sure that I'm being the best version of myself that I can be today.
Absolutely. And that's called mindfulness. When you walk in mindfulness, it's bigger than you. When you're walking in your purpose, you know that it's bigger than you. When you walk in your purpose is to impact other people in a positive way. A lot of people don't think that. A lot of people think that, okay, I'm walking in my purpose, so I'm gonna be rich. I'm walking in my purpose, so my business is gonna, flourish. I'm walking in purpose, I'm gonna have a big house, I'm gonna have a nice car. Those things come when you work and you give God the opportunity to bless you, because you are being a blessing to somebody else by walking in your purpose. That is my strong belief in that. I move behind the scenes. I bless people all the time. Matter of fact, I just did a blessing yesterday because I felt like he blessed me. He did a job for me. He didn't have to. And that meant a lot for me, because I'm like, dang, I don't know how I'm gonna get this done. So let me see what they could do for me. And this person made it happen for me. So I was like, I want to buy you lunch today. Lunch is on me. And I handed him something. And he was like, oh no, that's too much. Take the blessing, because you were a blessing to me. And he was like, wow, I've never had anybody to do that. I said, just pay it forward. Keep it going, because like you said, it becomes a ripple effect, and then all of the evil stuff that's land, because the let's just be honest, the devil blesses his people. That's why he has people, but God blesses his people as well. So if you're operating on that same vibration of the people that you want to have in your life and the lives that you want to impact, you move like that. It's all about mindfulness. How would I want somebody to treat me in this way? How do I need to show up for myself so other people who are watching, because let's just be honest, people are always watching. They're going to always have something to say, whether you're doing good, whether you're doing bad. Why not give them something to talk about that's going to change lives in a positive way than in a negative way?
Yes. Yeah, you're taking the words right out of my mouth, and that's really what inspired me to do what I'm setting out to do right now. I made this decision to start this movement just a few days ago, and I didn't expect for it to become a topic, but it seems like that's what it's revolving around right now, and I'm feeling very pushed to talk about it, if you would allow me to.
Go ahead. The name of my life coaching business is called Push, Proclaiming Unbreakable Self-Healing. So go ahead.
I love that. I mentioned it very briefly earlier, the name of my movement, and it's my artist name. It's the Thr33s H3avn movement, because it is a movement that I feel is a necessary thing in this world now, is because there is a specific way of life that is flourishing among my peers that I see on a day-to-day basis, and all of those people have the same problem that I have: alcoholism, addiction. And there is certain principles that we get for a new design for living that people who aren't addicts, who aren't alcoholics, don't get. That's why I'm so it may sound crazy for me to say this, but I'm blessed to be an addict today. I'm proud to be a drug addict today, because I no longer live in my addiction, but I'm living in the solution. And the solution is, the first step is becoming sober. But in order to stay sober is to recreate myself, to learn what my character defects are, to learn how I'm being a detriment to society even when I'm sober, and identifying those things, and then taking the proper steps into battling them and to overcome them and to make myself a better person. And that is the foundation of my movement. For one, it starts with the music. Whenever, like, my goal right now is to push my testimony, to share my testimony with whoever is willing to hear it in my music. And the second step is, once I rake in enough revenue to where I know I can do these other things that I feel God is pushing me to do, that's the next step.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to become an icon in the music is not my end goal. My end goal is to get out in the community, to spread awareness of this disease that I and so many others struggle with, to get to the youth, to pluck that weed at the root before it has time to spread, and to give a better opportunity for those individuals that aren't even drug addicts or alcoholics, that are just struggling, because everybody struggles every single day.
Every day.
Because we don't know how to be good people. It's not taught in schools how to be a good person. And that is the goal of the Threes Heaven movement, is to teach people that haven't been taught how to be a good person, how to be a good person, and to help people that struggle with the same disease that I struggle with feel not so bad about their disease, about the alcoholism, about the addictiveness, and to be proud, because we get a way of life after the fact, after we make the decision to get sober and to give our lives to God, that we get something that other people don't get. And I want to share that with people that haven't had to go through what people like me have had to go through, people who struggle with the disease of alcoholism have to go through. I want the world to be able to live this lifestyle, to understand that it's such a simple way of life, but it is something that's overlooked, because it's so simple just to be a good person, but it's so hard because it's not in my nature. Everything in my nature wants to go against it. I want to be selfish. I want to be self-centered. I want to be egocentric. I want to be prideful. I want the whole world to get down on their knees and praise me. But that's not what God wants for me. God wants me to humble myself, to do for others kind things, to love people the way that He loves me, to treat my neighbor as I would like to be treated, to give to the world the blessings that I have been given by God, to set that ripple effect of positivity in motion. And if I do that, and you do that, and the next person does that, and the next person does that, it's no longer an addition game, it's a multiplication thing. And we could easily make the world a better place if we were to just do that one time a day with one different person. It could change the world.
Listen, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, and how can we join the movement?
So right now, I have a Patreon. My Patreon is my name. It's 37 Thr33s H3avn. Right now, I don't have a lot uploaded because I just made it, but like I said, I'm starting out with the music. I have music released on, regular streaming services right now, like Apple Music and Spotify. But I have made the decision to veer away from those streaming services until I have a solid community that is willing to be a part of my movement, that hears my testimony and is moved by it. And so that's why I'm moving to Patreon, to establish my real fan base, my real community. And I'm releasing songs on there that I'm not going to be releasing on streaming services until it's time for my project to be released. And so if you guys like what you hear on Spotify or on Apple Music, however you stream music, and you get moved by my music, subscribe to my Patreon. I'm going to be putting all my music on there. I'm going to be putting more about the Three's Heaven movement. We're going to start something very big. And like I said, this idea came out of nowhere just the other day. And so I'm in the getting some things taken care of to where we can get out in the community and we can start bringing people in on this.
Right.
And so some part of the movement today, subscribe to the Patreon. First link that's on my link tree is the link to my Patreon. It's $3.77 a month to subscribe. You'll get exclusive content such as my music. The music that I have on streaming services is on there for unpaid members. And I'm going to continue uploading content on there, building my community, getting a solid fan base. And, from an outside perspective, I know it could potentially look selfish because, I'm trying to rake in revenue from what I'm doing. But in order to make a bigger impact on the community, to do some of the
capital.
things, you got to have money. Got to have money to be able to support the community. Yeah, I can give my last loaf of bread, my last crumb, my last penny. But is that really going to change somebody's life?
No.
We have the power to make a difference. We just need the community to get on board. People that have this same mindset that they want to make a change. That's what our goal is, to make a change, and we're starting it today.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. And so you beat me to the punch. I was about to tell people how they can ask you to tell people how they can join the movement, where you hang out and things like that. So aside from Patreon, how can they connect with you on social media?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram. My Instagram is Three's Heaven, no spaces. It's Thr33s H3avn. I also have a Twitter. Don't remember what my Twitter is. I think it's Three's Heaven as well, but I'll send you all the information for that. Try to stay off social media as much as possible, aside from networking and promotional purposes. YouTube, Three's Heaven as well, Thr33s H3avn, Spotify, Apple Music, other streaming services. I'm going to be working on creating other social media pages for myself as well. But for now, that's what I have. I really, really appreciate this. I didn't anticipate for this to go this way.
Listen, well, I'm so glad that you came to kick it with me. Look, this has been an amazing episode. Like every person that is in season 6, I am like torn because each episode becomes my favorite. So I'm like, now you're my favorite, like for real. And on a personal note, and I like to ask this question before we get off, what would your now self tell your younger self about anything that we talked about today?
That's a hard question to answer, because the one thing that I always end up coming to a conclusion is, if I wouldn't have gone through the things that I put myself through at a young age, I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in right now. And so I would tell my younger self, I'm sorry that you got to go through that, but you got to go through it, because you have a bigger purpose in this life. And in order to share the message that you now have with the world, gotta go through the mess first to have that mess be turned into a message. So I love you. You got it. Don't give up.
Oh, I love that. You are the first person who said that about when I asked this question to all of my guests. You are the first person who said, I'm sorry, you got to go through this, but you got to go through it. You're going to get through it. I love you, but you're going to have to go through it. That, it gave me goosebumps, like for real. Like I have goosebumps for it. Like J-Lo said, goosies, I have the goosies. Oh my goodness. This has been amazing. Listen, I am so proud of you. I want you to know that we just met. Today is our first time like meeting, but we've been talking for a couple of weeks or whatever. But I am so proud of you. Keep going. Don't give up.
Thank
Really.
you so much.
Keep being an inspiration. I can feel that energy through the screen. It's magnetic, and it is going to change lives. Keep sharing your testimony. Keep taking it one day at a time, because I know it gets hard, but you got it. You got it. You got it. So I just wanted to put that out there, that I'm so proud of you. So before we get off, what words of inspiration or motivation or anything, and we didn't even let you do it in the music, but we're gonna get these people over to support the music and things like that. And maybe we can have you back to come, because I have a couple of other artists that I would like to do like a artist showcase with you guys, and have you come back and do some of the music on the show. I'm gonna put that together for season 6 later in the season, and then I'll be in touch for sure. But yeah, yes, what message of encouragement or inspiration or motivation you would like to leave the listeners with today?
And take the time to really focus on the way that you can change internally, because you can't change anything externally until you change the world within. You have to change your mindset. You have to change where your heart's at. You have to really start looking at things as, how can I make a positive impact before I can make a positive impact? Because until then, you're just going to be going with your human nature, and your human nature, sad to say, is selfish. That's all people. And so get comfortable doing what's uncomfortable. Change. That's it.
And that's all we got to say about that. Thank you for listening to another episode of Kicking It with KeKe, Life, Love, and all that other shit. You have been listening to my guest, Thr33s H3avn. Y'all make sure y'all go follow him on social media platforms. All of his information will be in the show notes. Until next time, make sure that you love on yourself so that you can teach other people how to love on you. Self-love is selfish because you want the best for yourself. So make it selfish with being in love with yourself, self-care, self-accountability, self-discovery, and all the things that deal with self, so that you can develop yourself personally and operate as your best self and go through life vibrating on a different frequency. You might lose some people along the way, but it's okay. Everybody can't walk the journey with you. Sometimes you will feel like you're alone, but you're never alone. Sometimes you will have to go through the journey with nobody looking to your left and the right. You may not see that person. You may not see anybody, but you have people with you every day. So just be encouraged, be inspired. Until next time, purple hugs, and I will see you later.
Later, guys. Thank you.